Hello, I'm back with another easy vegan recipe. So I'm making these street-inspired tacos using a chickpea and soy chorizo base and an easy pico de gallo and homemade creamy chipotle sauce, which I just made a tutorial for, so I will link that. These are just the ingredients you're gonna need. I will put the exact increments in the description box to make it easier. So we're gonna start with that pico de gallo. It consists of the juice of 1 lemon, about 1 to 2 tablespoons of chopped cilantro, 1/4 cup diced onion, 1 large diced tomato, and then I skipped the jalapeno and I used 1 large sweet pepper instead. You can do this however you want. I just used whatever I had on hand. And then go ahead, sprinkle a little bit of salt, stir it, mix it well, and refrigerate it. So now moving on to making our meat filling, and that consists of about 1/4 cup diced onion, 1 roasted poblano pepper that I'm just taking the seed and stem out of, and then I'm just gonna chop it up. And I used olive oil for this, about 1 tablespoon. You can do whatever oil you want or skip the oil entirely. I'm adding 1 rinsed and well-drained can of chickpeas that I mashed by hand beforehand. This is about, I would say, like 1.5 cups of chickpeas. You can use black beans or whatever else you have on hand, really. This is a flexible recipe. It'll come out pretty good regardless of whatever bean you decide to use. Now I'm just adding about 1 teaspoon of fresh minced garlic. If you don't have fresh garlic on hand, feel free to use garlic powder. All right, and now I'm adding about 1/2 cup of soy chorizo. It's perhaps slightly less. From here, I'm going to stir in my seasoning blend, which consists of cumin, chili powder, oregano, seasoned salt, pepper, and I believe I put some garlic salt in there. I'll post the exact increments in the description box later. I'm also going to stir in some red pepper flakes for a little bit of added heat. You can use cayenne or skip this entirely if you don't want it too spicy. This meat filling cooks really fast and usually takes only about 5 minutes on medium heat. Just make sure the onions are translucent before turning the heat off. And now we're ready to set up our tacos. So this is pretty self-explanatory. You can see it's a little bit easier to make these tacos and keep them together when you half mash the chickpeas. When you put the chickpeas in whole, they kind of tumble around and fall out, and it can be really annoying to deal with. So I definitely recommend, if you plan on using chickpeas for this recipe, take the time to just kind of mash them with your hands, or maybe even pulse them in a food processor briefly, but you don't want them like pureed, you know? And then this is my creamy chipotle sauce that I just made a different tutorial for, so I'll make sure to post a link for that somewhere because it tastes really good with this. Kind of reminds me of the Taco Bell chipotle sauce. And that's it. Alrighty, so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you give it a shot, let me know how it turns out in a comment.